Welcome to Hennett Minutes. I'm Greg Hennett. Today's topic is only in the Lord. In 1 Corinthians 7, Paul was discussing different marriage and remarriage scenarios. And to the widows, he said, she is at liberty to be married to whom she will, that is, to the man she chooses, only in the Lord. Now, this is a very important stipulation that he places on the remarriage of widows or widowers, and it would also apply to any Christian who is seeking to be married. What does only in the Lord mean? First of all, it means only in the Lord's body. That is, to a true Christian who's been born again, not just someone who professes Christ or goes to church or even maybe in the ministry. The question is, are they truly regenerated? Has the Spirit of God touched them? And has the nature of Jesus Christ been received by them? That's a born-again Christian. That's a New Testament Christian. So the first stipulation is only in the Lord's body. I will add, that's the literal interpretation of this text. I want to make that clear. Now, experience will also let us expand this to mean this. And you listen and think about this. First of all, it would mean only in the Lord's will. God is the matchmaker. God is the one who brought Eve to Adam and Rachel to Jacob and Rebekah to Isaac. He is the one who brought Ruth to Boaz. He is the matchmaker. No one makes matches like God. What about a Christian who chooses someone that is not God's choice? Well, that is really not in the Lord. It's not in the Lord's will. And here's the problem. Jesus laid down this law or rule. He said, what God, therefore, hath joined together, let not man put asunder. But what if we do the joining and God is not in it? What do I mean? Well, where a Christian just marries another Christian because they're a Christian and not because they're God's choice. That's a recipe for disaster, for failure. So this text also means in the Lord's will. That is, to God's choice. So if you're seeking to be married or if you're eligible for remarriage, pray that the Lord will bring you His choice. Then His blessing will be upon it. It also means in the Lord's time. What do we mean by this? Well, some people are not really mature enough to be married. They're too selfish. Their attitudes are bad. They don't get along with people well. They're hard to get along with. This person is not ready for marriage. Or it could also mean someone who's been through a traumatic experience where their spouse has died suddenly and unexpectedly, or they've experienced invalid divorce. Their spouse divorced them without cause, or they've had to divorce their spouse because of impenitent fornication and adultery. That is, they lived a lifestyle that they just were not going to change. And the Christian had authorization from Jesus, who said that if we put away our wife or husband, it's adultery, except if it's fornication. So those are persons who would be ready or eligible for remarriage. And in that case, you need to remember that it takes a while for people either to mature and be ready for marriage or to recover from traumatic experiences related to marriage or something else in their life. And it takes them a while to recover emotionally so they are fully themselves and they're back to their norm and they're ready for marriage. You never want to marry someone, as we say, on the rebound when they're disappointed about their true love with someone else. That's not good. That's not going to work. That God's not in that marriage. So these are just some guidelines that Paul is laying down for us. Are you ready to marry? Are you eligible and ready to remarry? Well, here's Paul's instructions. Only in the Lord. To someone who is a Christian, to someone who is God's choice, and to someone who has had time to heal from a previous experience or mature and prepare for marriage. And so it's God's time. Only in the Lord.